Hello, fellow booktubers. John from Toronto here again. And before I start this video, I want to fill in some things that I missed from last video. Remember, I told you when I gave you a look at the three hockey novels by Scott Young. I mentioned that there's a link with Scott Young. Um, he is actually the father of a very famous person you probably all have heard of, Neil Young. So I should say he was the father. He's not with us anymore. But Neil Young is still with us, of course. And yeah, so Scott Young is Neil Young's father. So just thought I'd throw that in. Um, Now, Keith wanted me to ask me to if I could mention the novels I teach, and so I'll go through them, and I'll also mention the Shakespeare we teach because in my current school, I usually teach Shakespeare for every grade as well, 9, 10, and 11. So I'll mention those as well. Um, Now, in Ontario, we have quite a like every teacher. It's every teacher or every perhaps English head can choose the novels that they wish, as long as they are suitable, etc. I'm just going to plug this in. My battery's getting low. There we go. And so I'll mention the possibilities. So for grade, we'll start with the top grade, grade 12. I will almost always use Hamlet as the Shakespeare. But if they've already read that, let's say, I'll probably go with King Lear and hope they haven't read that. For the novels, usually I'll go from most likely to least likely. Heart of Darkness, 1984, Brave New World, Life of Pi, The Kite Runner, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Lawrence, Canadian icon. She's in her mid or late 80s now and still writing. Amazing. Another possibility, yeah, when I mentioned Heart of Darkness, there's another book that was sort of almost like a response to Heart of Darkness, and that was Things Fall Apart, and by Chinua Achebe. But I'm going to actually do another video that I want to do a comparison between Heart of Darkness and its response, let's say, Things Fall Apart, and talk about things there, different perspectives on the same idea, like the colonization of Africa. So that's about it for grade 12. There are other novels I could do too. Like if it's a really advanced class, I might try Anne Michael's Fugitive Pieces, or something else that's slightly more esoteric. For the grade 11s, we usually do Macbeth for the Shakespeare. And then for the novels, I could choose from these. The Great Gatsby is usually the default one to go to. But then Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms can sometimes be interesting too. It all depends which class I'm dealing with. Like what are the students capable of? What are they interested in? That kind of thing. Also, Indian Horse, which I had mentioned here before. It's a very excellent um, indigenous literature by Richard Wagamese, one of my favorites. As you know, I really like A Quality of Light. And also Secret Daughter, which I also mentioned for grade 11. These are all possibilities for grade 11. Also, sometimes some of the grade 12 books I'll do in grade 11, like maybe The Kite Runner, The Handmaid's Tale. Sometimes, again, it depends on the class makeup and what you think they're going to be doing in grade 12, what they've already done, that kind of thing. What else was? Oh yeah, I was going to mention certain books I would definitely not do in younger grades, like The Kite Runner. I don't think I'm going to be teaching that in grade 9 or 10. It's gets pretty heavy in certain places. Also, Heart of Darkness, I think, would be mostly lost on grade 9 and 10. That's a real deep thinking type novel. Moving on to grade 10, the Shakespeare would be The Tempest, usually. We'll say The Tempest for now. And the novels for grade 10, probably Lord of the Flies, The Joy Luck Club, To Kill a Mockingbird, or Fahrenheit 451. Fahrenheit 451 is kind of dated now. I think it's, I suppose there's still some connections there. And then in grade 9, the Shakespeare is usually Romeo and Juliet. Sometimes I might swap A Midsummer Night's Dream for that. Sometimes even Julius Caesar, again, depending on the makeup of the class and all the rest of it. The novel I would usually want to teach there is a separate piece. But other possibilities could be, especially if they're slightly not so good in English in grade 9, maybe Of Mice and Men, because it's short and easy to understand characters and it's mostly dialogue. Also, even Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, I could give that a surface treatment. And Animal Farm, that's always interesting. Students take to that one quite nicely, especially since it's so darn short. Another possibility, though, if it's an especially high functioning higher order thinking type class, capable of doing advanced type work, I might throw in John Wyndham's The Chrysalids for the novel in grade 9. Also, some grades like grade 12, even grade 11, depending on the makeup of the class, again, you might be 2 novels, not just one. And the Shakespeare also in there. I always like to put the Shakespeare in because the students actually, it's been my experience, they like Shakespeare. We read the, No Fear Shakespeare, which gives the modern version, but on the flip side is the sort of the original, or maybe it's a King James English type modern text. That is to help the students like the modern version, let's put it that way. It's easy to understand, but I also like to take them every now and then throughout the play. I will tell them, but let's look at how this was in the original text. One example I like there, it's just a short, silly example, but sorry, my mouth is dry. Yes, of course it is Tim Hortons, as you can see, my coffee. Okay, so a short example of how Shakespeare actually is so much more powerful and profound in, let's say, in Hamlet. When Claudius is suspicious of Hamlet, whether he knows that he has murdered Hamlet's father or not, he says that very short line that is, "Madness in great ones must not unwatched go." And that sounds so much better than the modern version, which is something like, what is it like? I don't think I have a copy of it here, darn it. But it loses all the dramatic impact of the original text. And but because the students I teach are mostly from China, and they've only been in Canada maybe 1 to 3 years at the most, it's kind of hard to expect them to understand the heavy texts of the original Shakespeare when even native English speakers have a lot of trouble with it too. So Um, that's about it, I guess, for this one. Um, so I'd be interested in knowing which books. Let's make a little bit of a fun challenge, I guess. If you were teaching grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, which novels would you choose for each one of those grades? And maybe also which Shakespeare would you throw in for each one of those grades, grade 9, 10, 11, and 12? I'd be very interested in reading your comments on that, or perhaps in your video response, let's say. That would be kind of interesting. I will mention also here in Toronto today, the weather is beautiful, at least so far. It's only not quite noon yet. But so far, it has not been that oppressive heat and just smoke from all the fires on the west coast, the east coast, and the north sort of floating into us. It's a lot better. There is still some haze in the distance there. Can I see the CN Tower all the way from here? Let me take a look. Oh yeah. You see, yesterday I couldn't see the CN Tower. That's how dense the smog was. And I'm in like North Toronto. I'm almost to Markham, so I have a beautiful view. And I'll try to show you that in a minute if you can see it. It's kind of bright, but it's a beautiful day with a nice little breeze coming through. Not too hot, just the way summer should be, you know. But of course, in this day and age with global warming, and that's creating more fires and forests and all that, and then it blows over, and yeah, but at least we're not actually in the fire zone. And I do, my heart does go out to those who are. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. There have been deaths, and pretty terrible. So on a lighter note, let me just show you the view from my apartment. It's, hopefully you can see. I don't know. Might be too bright. Let's see. So I'm behind, so hopefully you can see something. Now, I don't know if you can see the CN Tower from there way out there, but I can. And it's quite a nice little neighborhood here, even though, you know, I'm fairly close to busy roads. But it's a nice, I'm sort of nicely nestled into this little pocket. And so that's that. And oh, who's this? Is that our friend Felix? It is, isn't it? Yeah. He's not too interested. Okay. So I have no idea if you saw that or not, but let me know. And I wish you all a good day. I hope you'll do a kind of a response about what you would teach in grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 English. Might be fun to do. And I will wish you the very best. And one of these days I'm going to do a comparison between Things Fall Apart and Heart of Darkness and talk more about that. I think you'll find it interesting. Okay, take care, and hope to hear from you. Bye for now.